yeah, that looks a lot more better now. Yes, it does to me on this thing. Okay, here we go. Yo, yo, yo. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome back to the Great Debate Show with their host, Jarvis Jeffries. That is I. Terrence Smith. That is him. For my people on X, formerly known as Twitter, we are live right now on the Great Debate Show. You cannot see my buddy Terrence right now, but you will soon as we get these videos uploaded on all the social media platforms, which is where you can find the Great Debate Show. Twitter or X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Just type in the Great Debate Show. And we're available wherever you get your podcast. All you have to do is type in the Great Debate Show wherever you get your pods. And rate, review, and follow. So you can be notified each and every time a new episode is available. All right. We're here today for some wrestling news. And it's so much of it. Bear with us. We're going to do the best we can and try to knock this out and get this done. But there's a lot to talk about. SmackDown, Monday Night Raw. A lot of things happen on Raw with Kofi and Xavier Woods, them turning heel. We got to talk about that with Big E's return for their 10-year New Day anniversary. Can't wait to hear what Terrence thinks about that. Kevin Owens, in my opinion, is so much better when he's a heel, and he's very hilarious to me and overly petty. I love it. So we'll talk about him and his match coming up with Cody Rhodes for Saturday Night Main Event. What's up with Jade Cargill? Is it a real injury? Is it a work? Is it a part of the story? Nobody seems to know, or they're just swerving us all. We'll talk about that as well, and what they're going to do with Bianca's and her tag team titles now that she's the only one left, and she's starting to miss her partner Jade because she's already starting to catch those fades back there in the back, you know, getting attacked and getting jumped. Who's going to be the first United States Women's Champion? What's next for the new bloodline? Solo and his team, what left of his team, showed up pissed. And we'll see what's up with them. When are we going to get Punk and Rollins? Why was Gunther backstage on SmackDown? We've got a lot of injuries to talk about. Well, not a lot, but some significant injuries, in my opinion, that happened from War Games, Survivor Series. Did it hurt some storylines? And what's this talk, Terrence, about The Rock going to miss WrestleMania 41? Is that true or is that not true? I'll tell you. I know exactly what's up with that. But, you know, what's Cody going to do at WrestleMania 41? If we don't see Cody and The Rock. Raw is going to be TV, PG, as always, on Netflix. Not the TV 14 that we thought or that we hoped for. Would like to see what Terrence, and I would love to know what you all think about that as well. Leave it in the comment section when these videos all go up. And there's a fifth match planned for Saturday Night Main Event we're hearing, and we would like to know or predict or debate what the hell that's going to be. I personally think that the 4 matches that they have already is okay. But first, T, let's hurry up and backtrack a little bit to Monday. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Sure. Not a whole lot, I think, to recap. But for me, the main thing out of that show, I'm just going to get right to it. What I thought was the best segment probably of the night was a little emotional. Depending on who was watching or who you're asking, between the New Day celebrating their 10-year anniversary, and they were welcoming Big E back. We thought they were going to welcome him back with open arms. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be a lot of cooning and buffoonery stuff that I don't like, that I get sick of, and I stopped watching when they first started the New Day. That's when I left. I'm serious. That's when I left. I didn't get down with all the dancing and the blowing the trumpets and the horns and the booty-os and all that. I didn't get down with all of that. To me, that's just them having us act ignorant on TV, and I hate it. And that's the one thing about wrestling that I hate the most. I love wrestling so much. Sometimes I've stuck around, and people can call me a softie, a sensitive SOB, or whatever all you want. But I just heard on YouTube, WWE Vault, I had a notification because I wanted to see when it went up live, a live rerun from Saturday Night Main Event from 1989. Mm-hmm. And I watched Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase go on a promo backstage with Mean Gene Okerlund talking about how Donald Trump doesn't wash his own windows in his hotels and in his businesses and restaurants, and such doesn't do this and do that. and he was making it was a metaphor, but in the end he looked over at Virgil and said that's what Virgil is for. It was so damn racist, and I'm like, what the hell? How can anybody still watch the rest of that show? I mean, anybody that looks like me
Right.
after seeing that. That's the reason why WWE has always been under the microscope for things like this. And I know Ted DiBiase didn't write it, but still, whoever wrote it, man, that wasn't cool to say. And they had the chain match right after that where Virgil went against Hercules or whatever his name was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And of course, Virgil lost the match. He was treated like a slave. And basically, Ted DiBiase said he was a slave. I mean, that was just terrible. But I did it because I wanted to see Macho Man versus Andre the Giant. I didn't even get to it because I got in my feelings, T, and I couldn't watch the rest of it.
Right.
So back to this. I know I jumped off target. I mean, off subject, but that's what I thought I was going to see Monday night with the New Day, and I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad they took a different approach, and so we're going to get to that. Here's the story, T, and I'm going to let you have at it.
Okay.
Uh, Kofi and Xavier turned heel on Big E this past Monday night after he offered to be their manager moving forward. But the way it's happening now, I want everybody to know that is not how it was originally planned, according to Dave Meltzer. Now, you might want to take that with a grain of salt, but when I explain, you'll probably understand that this time Meltzer may be on point here. All right? He says that the angle had been planned for months, which looks like that's facts.
Yeah.
But when Odyssey Jones came in, they were going to tease issues with them not getting along, and it would end up being Kofi and Xavier going heel. They were still going to do that, but they were going to be choosing Odyssey Jones, and he would be the one publicly replacing Big E. Then Odyssey Jones got fired, and I don't even want to get into that,
Right.
but we know the story. Most people would say rightfully so. He was terminated, and this is what put that story or that angle on hold. And a lot of times when we see things happen and we were like, what happened to this? Or why did they not follow through with that? Sometimes it's either injuries or something like this, and Odyssey Jones got fired. So I can actually believe what Dave Meltzer is saying on this could be accurate because we saw them headed in that direction. All right, T, that's enough of me talking. What did you think about that segment on Monday night, and do you like where they're going with Kofi and Xavier coming together as brothers in arms with a serious, focused look on their face and telling Big E, you can go back to the office. We'll call your ass when we need you.
Yeah. Um, Not to totally jump off subject, but what it says to me as a whole, you look at the New Day coming along, Motor City Machine Guns over on SmackDown, DIY just turned heel. The Street Profits have been kind of cooking back up. I think they're looks like they were getting ready for a heel turn. I think they got attacked last night and didn't make their tag team match, which is the ultimate babyface thing. But anyway, you also look at the landscape outside of WWE where it looks like we're about to get the Lucha Brothers. One half is already signed. Tony Khan is holding the other one hostage. It looks like Triple H is about to gear up tag team wrestling, and I think we're about to see some really good stuff in the future with tag team wrestling. So that's what it says to me as a whole. And not to mention the formerly known as the Viking Raiders made their return recently also. So what it just says to me as a whole is that tag team wrestling is about to have a renaissance, if you will, in WWE. Now, as far as just a segment by itself, let me just say, and I've already expressed this to my two of my closest of friends. If any of them ever talk to me that way, we have a problem, and it ain't gonna be solved on TV. Let me just say that. Because you can't talk to me like those guys talk to Big E, man. That was first of all, Kofi and Xavier um, do not get the credit that they deserve for their mic work. Those guys, and even the segment they did the week before that when they were going at each other, I mean, those guys are very, very, very good on the microphone. If anybody says they can't work the microphone, it's just pure hatery. Those guys are excellent. What they did with Big E and Big E's facial expressions and the way that the crowd was quiet. I mean, you can hear a pin drop, you can hear a rat pissing on cotton. Um, Absolutely an A plus in delivery from everybody involved, 1,000%. But I'm gonna say this: I don't think this is the end of it. I believe Big E is clear, and they know he's cleared. And there's no way in hell Kofi gets on that mic and says that if they don't know that Big E's cleared. And I'm saying that to say I think we're going to see a situation where Big E joins them in the future.
Yeah, yeah, T. You got it there. I do think Big E is cleared. I think he's coming back. And what gave it away was when they both told Big E that Edge came back from his neck injury.
Yep.
Brian Danielson came back from his neck injury. I think they said his name.
Yep. They said Daniel
Um,
Bryan.
yeah, they said Daniel Bryan, though, of course. People have came back from neck injuries. And he's cleared. He's coming back. And again, if that's the case, all blessings to him. I hope he's well. I hope he's able to do this. And I hope he doesn't get hurt like this again. But yeah, I think you're right, T, and I agree with that. And so all in all, yeah, I think that was a good segment. And
Yeah.
I would like for Big E to also eventually switch over with those guys as well as heels. But right now, if he's cleared to come back, is he going to have a partner or something to tag team against those two, Kofi and Xavier, or what? They just going to be whooping his ass, 2-on-1? How is that going to work if he
Now, I,
does?
I think you'll see a situation where it's a tag team championship match. Big E does the run in. Everybody thinks he's coming out to make those guys lose, and he gives somebody a big ending, and they get the win. Like I think Big E is going to come back and eventually join them. I don't. They have been very explicit in saying they don't ever want to split up. So I don't. I think this whole thing is it's a double work.
Kind of a work too. Yeah.
It's a double work. It's a work inside of a work. Absolutely.
Okay. And Big E could be the reason why or how they possibly become tag team champions again, maybe?
I can see that.
You would think?
I can see that.
Yeah. You didn't think that he was going to help them and then he screws somebody over and helps them.
Yeah.
Speaking of tag team champions, fast forward to Friday Night SmackDown, we've got new tag team champions, the Motor Machine Guns. They came in and, like out of the blue, and we know them, legend tag team from the TNA days. We get it.
Yeah.
But they hadn't really been involved in anything like a real angle, any story. That they came in and they lost the titles pretty much the same way they won them. When they took them off of Jacob Fatu and um, uh, one of the bloodline members.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't want to botch their names. But when they did it, they became champions. And then last night, they were supposed to be going against the Street Profits. We saw the Street Profits got attacked. We're thinking now it probably was by DIY. And DIY is the next team who gets the opportunity to, have a tag team title match. They take advantage of that opportunity. This was the Motor City Machine Guns probably had to feel like Kimbo Slice or somebody when he got knocked out by Ken Shamrock. But he was actually preparing for another fighter who couldn't fight. And he said, I don't care, bring whoever you want to bring out. And Ken Shamrock came out there and kicked his ass and knocked him out within a minute or so. They weren't prepared for DIY. They lost the titles. Are you okay with that? DIY now heel also. Well, this was a heel turn, and they're now the new tag team champions.
Yeah, they did it very well. They executed it well in the ring. They told a good story about them turning heel. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that we did have too many babyface teams. But I will say I feel like that could have been the Street Profits moment, but maybe this is going to lead to that moment, so I won't get too upset about it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was cool. Again,
Okay.
what it says to me is that Triple H and WWE is they're finally putting a premium on tag team wrestling. So I'm looking forward to seeing everything they cook up going forward with tag team wrestling.
Right, right. Okay. All right. Well, before we get to some of the other things that happened on SmackDown, first let's talk about some of the injuries from War Games. And
Yeah.
I want to know what it hurt some of the storylines. Bronson Reed, that a highlight of him coming off the top of the cage and about to end Roman Reigns' career before being saved by CM Punk. On that actual fall, that landing on the table, which was a great spot, T, you can see when they slowed it down and they highlighted. Did he break his ankle? Did he twist his ankle pretty severely? I don't know, but you can see his whole right foot ankle or whatever you want to say snap as he lands. He's out for a while. Well, I'm hearing indefinite. They even showed you, the image or whatever, like an X-ray or MRI or whatever, and they circled it or whatever as they let us know the injuries. Also, they showed Jimmy Uso, who broke his toe when he came off the top, and he did a spot where he landed on somebody, and the impact was pretty hard. I saw how he looked though when he landed, and I'm like, something happened there, but I didn't know what. And it was the foot, his toe. He's out for at least a month, they're saying. And Tangaloa, I get them mixed up. I get the names
I
mixed
so
up.
do I. They look so much alike.
Yeah, but one of those guys, Tangaloa or Tamatanga or whatever, he tore his bicep. And we didn't even know that. I don't think anybody had mentioned it or talked about it, but thank you to WWE for letting us know that on SmackDown. They even showed images of that as well. And he's already had surgery. So we know he definitely popped that thing. He probably had surgery that Monday. So here we are, fast forward to Friday. 3 people on the bench right now, injured on IR because of this. Now, I don't know if everything was done with after War Games with the whole bloodline and the OG bloodline or not. I don't know if Bronson Reed was going to continue to be with Solo and the new bloodline or what. But tell me what you think happens now. Does it mess anything up? I know Jimmy was going to be walking around with Roman and doing something with on that side. So just tell me what you think is going to happen now. And again, we hope those guys get back well, because we hate to see that when they're putting on a show for us, trying to entertain us, and now they're on a shelf for a little minute.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
my biggest issue is Bronson Reed. Uh, because my biggest fear, and I meant to say this in our last recording, and I didn't get to. I didn't think I would need to, and then when I found out he was hurt, I was really upset with myself. But my biggest fear of Bronson Reed was his push was so strong, and he was going up the ladder, and I'm pretty sure they had very big plans for him. Um, him going into that match, my biggest fear was him getting hurt, and now we've got to bring him back down. And I know his comeback is going to be tremendous, but it's just the stuff he was doing on TV every week with Seth Rollins, with Braun Strowman, and with hell, pretty much anybody that would lay there and take a tsunami was so doggone good. And now that's going to be off our TV for an indefinite period of time. I think it definitely hurt him, but he'll be fine in the long run. But it just sucks that he got hurt in that match. Everybody else, I don't think it's going to hurt any storylines. I think the next thing you're going to have to do anyway is a solo match with Solo and Roman, if you will, for the Ula Fala, whatever. I think we got to go on and get to the end of this. This can't keep dragging on. Um,
Right.
yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt anything from that aspect. Um, I think as long as you have Solo, you have Jacob Fatu, and at least one of those guys, you're fine. On Roman's side, I think Jim is going to be out for a little bit, but he'll probably be able to still be there and do those things on camera. He just can't get into action. And I think Jay is probably still kind of in his quasi solo push. Sami Zayn is intertwined with Drew McIntyre. So as a whole, everything will be fine, I think.
Okay. All right. I agree with you about that. The whole Ulafala. Go ahead and get it. I thought I heard Punk say you get your Ulafala back after we win War Games, and they won War Games, and Solo still has it
That's
on
what I mean.
Friday.
That's what I mean by the match. There were no implications, and all you got are injuries from it. You got injuries, and you got a couple of good moments. Put some
Yeah.
implications on that
Yeah.
thing this year.
Yeah, yeah. And again, we got no Rock at the end of the night, which is what I was expecting.
Right.
So again, we'll get back to him in a minute. And the last time we saw him at Bad Blood here shortly. But before I get to those other things, speaking of the bloodline and whatever they're going to do, they're 2 men down. If Bronson Reed was going to continue to roll with the new bloodline, maybe he was just there for War Games, I'm sure. But they're still 1 man down. But they came out last night and they attacked. Immediately, Solo came in and said, if you think we're soft or we're not going to continue to run the WWE just because we lost at damn War Games, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Jacob Fatu, whoop his ass. Whoever was in sight, whoop his ass. And that's what they did quickly. But the way they ended the show last night, wait a minute, who was it again? That we know backstage they attacked the few security, but outside in the ring they came and interfered in what match was that, T?
Was that Shinsuke's match?
Yeah, it was the Shinsuke match. Who was he? Who did he go up? No, it wasn't a match. He wasn't in a match, was he? No, he wasn't in a match last night, but he was in a promo, I guess. that he was about to start? I don't know. Was it a match or was it just a promo? But LA Knight came out. I'm sorry, I don't know how I got that blank. I watched the entire show last night, but LA Knight came out and he said a few things and he wants his title match back. He said he wanted it back tonight. Of course, we know that wasn't going to happen. Security starts to come to break this thing up. And anyway, Solo and the New Bloodline, they attack LA Knight. Why?
Well,
And Shinsuke didn't get bothered, of course. He ends up leaving. He thought that he was going to have to put the misk on those guys, and he saw that they weren't there to harm him, and was like, okay, I'll just let this shit drip down my mouth.
crazy look. Love
Crazy
Shinsuke.
look.
Love Shinsuke.
Love what they're doing with him. Love the dark look and everything that they're doing with him. I don't necessarily think he had to be the United States champion to do it. But, you know, I had other plans for Carmelo Hayes, but that's neither here nor there. T, what's going on with this? Is this just they're in the way and Solo and them are just trying to make an example out of somebody, or what's up with that angle?
I think it's a way to pull LA Knight out of the U.S. title picture, have him work with the Bloodline until they get back to Bloodline and Roman. I don't know how long that's going to take. You'll probably see Shinsuke with some of those other guys that were in the U.S. title picture. It just tells me that Shinsuke is probably going to hold on to the title until at least a Rumble, maybe even Mania, and turn it over to a babyface. But I think it's just a way to get LA Knight out of the U.S. title picture, and now he'll go back to fighting Solo and all those guys.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that though, T. If you're right, I thought that LA Knight lost the title in order to be involved in a better storyline with Shinsuke, and just the whole struggle of him trying to get the title back. If this is what you're saying, I guess I'm okay with that too. However, who is Shinsuke? What babyface is he going to give the title to? Andrade? When it probably should be Carmelo Hayes, even though he's not a babyface, but that's who should be next to get it.
I like heel Carmelo.
Me too.
It's one of those situations where, and I don't know how much you know about it, but Vince McMahon never wanted to see a babyface Shawn Michaels. He didn't think that Shawn Michaels was a babyface. And I am telling the world the same thing that everybody else is trying to tell Vince. Carmelo Hayes should be a babyface.
Hold on, you say he should be
He
a
should be. He
babyface?
should be. Absolutely. He's
Okay.
got a great look, super charismatic. Like, we're talking about him, and he's a bad guy, and we both like him. See what I'm saying? We already like him. Like, I'm never going to root against Carmelo Hayes ever. I don't care who he's in the ring against. I'm never going to root against him.
Right.
We're not the only ones. We're not the only ones that feel that way.
That's how you know he should be babyface.
Make him babyface.
You're right. You're actually right. Good point. Good point, T. Okay. But he's not going to be the babyface.
No, he's not going to be, no.
Unfortunately.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know who they're saving that for, but let's see where that goes, though, T. We're not wrong a lot on here, but let's see where that goes, because I would like to see how and why they done that. Why would they want to put LA Knight in that bloodline thing?
And we also have to keep in mind that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're going to be doing some inner trading here coming soon. Some people are from SmackDown are going to Raw. Some folks from Raw are going to SmackDown. I wouldn't be surprised if they switched up the titles. Who's got the Intercontinental title over there?
That's Bronson. That's
Bronson Reed. Yeah, I mean Bronson. Not Bronson Reed. My goodness, Braun Breaker. Wouldn't be surprised if they switched them. Because it's clear that Netflix wants who they want, and they got to give up something. I mean, you can't leave SmackDown with just bare bones. So they're going to be sending some people over to SmackDown, some over to Raw. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Shinsuke jump ship. You just never know, but I can see it happening.
Well, maybe that's why we saw Gunther seen backstage on SmackDown last night.
And also Dominic Mysterio was backstage.
Dirty Dom was also seen backstage last night on Friday Night SmackDown without Judgment Day, without his woman, Liv. So, yeah, can't wait to see on Monday Night Liv.
Before we hop off Dominic, that's the next big babyface turn that's coming. I don't know if you saw it Monday, but he was getting cheered. He had a match with Gunther,
No,
and
I missed that.
yeah, he was getting cheered in spots. There was some "Let's Go Dom" chants. You can even tell by some of Finn Balor's dialect about kind of being dismissed to Dom. There's going to be a big Dom babyface turn coming, which I thought they would do at some point because just like Carmelo, we're supposed to hate him, but we love him. Even even
Yeah,
even the booing, you don't boo somebody that tough if there's not some admiration in there somewhere. And his babyface turn is just going to be crazy. It is going to be so crazy.
agreed. Agreed. We do love him. Love him. Hate him so much we love him.
Yep.
That is actually absolutely true. I can see Finn Balor maybe after he loses the World Heavyweight Championship match, which he will. Um, when is that match again? Oh yeah, that's Saturday night main event. Once he loses, maybe Dirty Dom tries to help him in some type of way and screws it up. And
Right.
this is another reason for Finn Balor and the rest of the gang to say enough of this. We're gonna kick his ass, and that'll happen on the next Monday Night Raw. And then yeah, he gets kicked out. Maybe they hurry up and finish that, or maybe it's not even a story, and he just immediately gets traded to SmackDown. That's basically what they're doing. It's like I like how they do this. Very creative. I think I'm hearing like a portal, like the college
Yeah.
portals or whatever.
Yep.
Portals. That's what they're calling it. So
Yep.
very creative by the WWE and what they're doing there. So yeah, we saw Gunther, we saw Dirty Dom on SmackDown in the back, and so and I like their GM better too. So I can see why they probably would want to go to SmackDown. Not that I have a problem with Adam Pearce, but he just doesn't really do it for me. Like, is it Niles McGuinness? I mean, I'm sorry, not Niles McGuinness. Why did I say him? What's his name? Mickey James' husband, the general manager.
Oh yeah, Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis. Yeah, Nick Aldis. I like him, and maybe that's why they want to go to SmackDown. But yeah, they definitely are tweaking some things, switching some things over. While we're talking about that, are they going away from the brand split though? Because that's what it seems like. That's what I'm kind of hearing.
They should. They should.
Which makes the draft, like worthless. But maybe they won't have another one this spring. But I think they are. Why do you think they should though, too? Just so they can what? Just keep everything wide
Well,
open and
right. Yeah, yeah. Everything wide open, and Netflix is demanding certain people. USA is not trying to get rid of those people. Why not just appease both?
yeah,
And I'm not saying have them fight on every show. Maybe you can do it where if you fight on Raw, you don't have to fight on SmackDown. You just make an appearance. But you still no show should go without Roman Reigns if he's available. No show should go without CM Punk or Cody Rhodes or you know then at least your top tier guys should be able to go between both shows.
you're right.
Personally, if you have Seth stuck on Raw, he can't get to SmackDown. I don't give a damn. Uh, but those top 4 or 5 guys, in my opinion, should be able to go between shows.
Yeah. And it looks like that's where they're going, though, T. It looks like it. It can't satisfy everybody, so let's just, well, I mean, we
Right.
can't satisfy one or the other, so let's try to satisfy both Netflix and USA. So we'll see how that goes. We're reviewing or recapping the week in wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, shifting gears real quick back to Raw. CM Punk came out feeling good, looking good,
Yep.
celebrating the win with War Games. He held up his end of the deal. Paul Heyman owes him a favor. When we're going to get to that soon, I hope. It wasn't Friday night, though. It wasn't Monday night either. I hate when they do that. But anyway, that's Triple H stretching everything out as much as he can. But the interesting thing from it, him saying that he was, he felt better out the War Games than he did out the Bad Blood. That was the sign that we knew somebody was going to show up later that night. We'll get into that too shortly. But CM Punk was interrupted by Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He knew this was coming.
Of course.
He wasn't involved in War Games. He turned down Sami Zayn twice. CM Punk didn't. Now Rollins comes out and says, I should have knocked your ass out the first night you walked back into this building. and it got juicy, it got heated, and it looked like it was about to be a fight. I loved it as always. Rollins good on the mic.
Yep.
Punk as always great on the mic. A lot of things were said. They ended up getting into a quick scuffle somewhat, and then it was broke up quickly. When are we gonna get that match, Terrence? And your
Mania.
thoughts on
Mania.
that's still going to the Mania? Okay, right.
Yep.
Okay. So what are they gonna do from now until then? Though we still got
Stretch it. Stretch
Royal.
it.
Stretch it.
Oh, I mean, if you think about it, the next event is a Rumble. You don't have to put either of them in a match in a Rumble. You just have them in a Rumble. You can have them have a confrontation in a Rumble. They do the standoff. And let me just say this: I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people that don't know how to watch TV. Like this is a story. It's a soap opera. You don't get everything at once. So when CM Punk and Seth Rollins were pretending to get ready to fight each other, that's so they don't hit each other. That's so they that when CM Punk pushed him, he put like there was no hit. There was no real impact. It was a push, and then it was like, all right, let's pretend to fight for a second. That's so they don't hit each other. They're saving it. They're saving all of that. You're not going to see them touch each other for a very long time. Maybe at the Rumble, may not even be until Mania or sometime in that area. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw a lot of folks complaining about, oh, they can't fight. Look at them, idiots. It's TV. Watch TV, be entertained, and quit taking everything to be so serious, man. It's entertainment.
That is true.
But I think we get
That
it.
is
We're gonna get that match at Mania. We were supposed to get it last year, but Punk was hurt. So they did the thing with Drew. We'll get it at Mania, and then the Royal Rumble will be the real deal to it, I think.
Oh, I forgot to mention when we were talking about the new bloodline attacking LA Knight.
Yeah,
Andrade came out to help too. I forgot to mention that. So
there's a
he's
baby
gonna
face.
be
There's a baby face.
there's the baby face. He's gonna be somewhere involved, and then I forgot he was laid out with LA Knight, and they let Shinsuke go. So yeah, just wanted to say that. But yeah, T, I agree with what you just said there. I do, and yeah, we'll see where all this goes. I know we're getting Punk and Rollins for WrestleMania. It's just that, and I'm glad that they're already kind of,
Yeah,
kicking up the dust on it. This is what we were supposed to get, and I can't wait. But we got plenty of time. This should be a hell of a build. I can't wait to see what they do to make it more interesting, other than what they're doing already. Seth just not liking them and things like that. I just hope they get down into it a little bit more as to why. Why do you hate me so much? Uh, if I was an asshole or whatever, a prick before I left this company when I walked out 10 years ago, what did I do to you? Like if we could just really get into the meat and potatoes of that, I would say, why does Seth, or the Shield, I should say, why do Seth and Roman hate Punk so much? How much shit did he really give them 10 years ago? If that could be put out, maybe people wouldn't look at Punk as the babyface as much, because it almost seems like some of the things that they say, just like Kevin Owens, and we're about to get into. Kevin Owens is the heel, Cody's the babyface, but man, KO's got some good points, and I'm kind of like Carmelo Hayes. I'm kind of like what's his name? Gabe, Shorty G, I should say, and Cody
Chad
Carmelo.
Gable. Chad Gable.
Yeah, Chad Gable. I'm kind of with those guys. Yeah, Cody, you're not such of a good friend, are you? Sometimes it seems like even though the ones they make the baby face, they're the guiltiest parties in this whole thing. They're really not the victims. If Punk was such a bad asshole to these guys, why is he the baby face? Maybe they should be tweaking that, and maybe Punk should be the one who should be the heel, with Paul Heyman advising him, being his I don't know. That's just me. It looks like Rollins is definitely about to snap out and go heel, but I'm just saying, some of the things that are said in these stories, I don't know if people are listening or not. It almost sounds like they're not the heels. They're not maybe a little bitter, but they were the victims here. That's what it kind of seems like to me. But yeah, this is gonna be good. Punk and Rollins, can't wait. That'll be good. What else happened? Tiffany Stratton got a big win in her tournament, so
Mhm.
she advances in the United States
Mhm.
Women's Championship tournament. So we can't wait to see who that is gonna be. Who's gonna be fighting for that title on Saturday night's main event. We got one more week, Terrence. Raw and SmackDown. One more show of each to close out as far as the going home show for Saturday Night Main Event. All right, what am I missing here? What am I missing? I know we covered quite a bit, but we still got more to cover. Let me go to this then. Before we get into the card, let's talk about Kevin Owens and his out of the box interview last night with with Michael Cole. It was funny to me as Michael Cole left the desk and said, "I'm about to go have an interview with Kevin Owens." I was already starting to chuckle a little bit because he was letting us know this is gonna be good. This is gonna be funny. He didn't even want to go do the damn interview, so he leaves and he goes to do it because I think Kevin Owens still can't be there, like in the actual arena, until he decides to pop up and be there in the arena. But what did you take from that interview last night and some things that Kevin Owens said and whose fault is this and whose fault is that? And keep in mind, Randy Orton still got a beef with him and he's been out. We got to see him at some point. But your take on the interview and Kevin and Cody at the end last night and all of that, how that's taking place. Do you like where they're going with it? And how's that going to unfold next Saturday night? Hmm. Hmm. Yep. No doubt about it. Okay. Um, so Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes Saturday Night Main Event. That's gonna happen. Do you have any takes on what we saw from Naomi and she lost her match, so she's out of the United States Championship. We did see a lot of backstage stuff between her. That's why I don't want them to do a fifth match on Saturday night next week because I like to see more backstage stuff. I like to see more promos. I like to see more juicy stuff in the story. I ain't got to have all that wrestling. Let's not try to be AEW. You know, this too much wrestling for me gives me a headache. I'm not a wrestling fan. I tell people that all the time. I'm a sports entertainment fan. I love that and how they do it with some wrestling in between. Last night, Bianca was like, I don't know who did that to Jade, but you know, when I find out, I'm gonna beat him down. Naomi, same thing, but Naomi just seemed to point a lot of fingers and accuse others, which is why some people think it could be her. And Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are out there in the back also talking, and they say they threw their shots at how, you know, everybody's threw their shots at how it could be Bailey, you know, and then, you know, they want you to think that it's Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Byron Saxton is, he just pops up from out of nowhere with a microphone and confirms that he knows where Piper Niven was during Jade Cargill's attack. She was right in his eyesight in gorilla, you know, backstage in gorilla position. So he's letting everybody know it wasn't her. And we don't think Chelsea Green could have did that to Jay by her damn self. All right, so let's do the math here, Terrence. Where are they going with this, and how long is it going to take for us to find out who did what? Because apparently they can't just ask Jade. She must be unconscious or something right now in a coma or something because they can't just pick up a phone and ask her who did this to you. You know, so the mystery continues, the saga continues. How do you think this is going? Because it seems like she may be really hurt for real. I just don't know. There's too many different stories on it. One says she is hurt. Another one says she is, and it's a work. Another one, like Dave Meltzer, 3 months, possibly longer. What you got on this? Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Other than Nia Jax, and I just don't see what reason Nia Jax would have to attack Jade unless she just really wanted to win War Games that bad. And let's get her out. Chance. That is true. And and that could very well be it, which means that they're going to have to stretch that closer to Elimination Chamber or something. Um, but yeah, don't forget they had the match where there was another tournament where Jade got eliminated because she lost to Nia because she was busy trying to. Nia said something to her daughter and she got distracted and she got a little emotional and she got herself DQ'd. So they had a few things here and there where they planted some seeds where it could be Nia, but I would much rather it be Bianca, like you said, T. It's just time. People are tired of the baby face thing from her. It's gotten a bit stale. I would love to see her go heel. I would love to see Montez Ford, her real life husband or boyfriend or whatever. I would love to see him step in and be heel as well. The Street Profits. Who jumped on them? We don't know, but it probably was DIY. But either way, I don't like where they're going with that either because they should be going heel too. But I guess they won't do that now that the New Day has turned heel. But yeah, all right. So just wanted to talk about Jade Cargill for a moment and what we think. A lot of people think it's Naomi though, T. A lot of people think it's Naomi from what I see on social media. But it very well could be Bianca. It makes sense. And if we're gonna get to WrestleMania, there it is. Bianca has a lot of things that she can say in a promo as to why she was jealous of Jade, but just too delusional to realize it or say it. But yeah, uh, that's good for that. All right, so we've talked about quite a bit. The last thing I think we can talk about, Raw is gonna remain the same, TVPG, not 14 when they move to Netflix. A lot of fans happy with it. Are you okay with it though, T? Okay, okay, okay. So you're not really buying that. Okay, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, me either. And I definitely hope that they stop censoring all of the holy shits and all of that, man. Let us hear the audience. It is what it is. Let the crowd do what the crowd does. We can't control that. Stop trying to control that. That was probably more Fox and or USA. So yeah. But and again, now Terrence, just because he's saying that, ladies and gentlemen, he and myself, we don't think that we're going to see half naked women like we did in the Attitude Era. We know they're not going that far. But for them to come out and say what they said, though, pretty much says they want to keep it as family friendly as possible. And every now and then, some people can come in and they can drop a few F bombs, S bombs, or whatever if they want on Netflix because of who they are. All right, so I'll quickly just give you a rundown on the matches for Saturday Night Main Event. Terrence and I will come back next week before Saturday night main event, next Saturday, and give our predictions for the card. We think we know the card pretty much as of now. We've got Gunther versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther will win. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. Pretty sure Liv Morgan retains also. The United States Women's Championship. We don't know who those two will be, but that will be the match. Am I right, T? For the last two, the final two in that tournament, and the winner will be crowned the champion. I don't know where they'll go with that now that Naomi's out, Bianca's out. That would have been another good reason to get Jade out of there too, because they wanted to be that United States champion. But Bianca has no reason to want to be that champion anyway. She's a multiple-time world women's champion. So I think her and Jade will have their story coming up in their feud for WrestleMania. I don't know, T. Maybe they go with I don't know, maybe Bayley versus Chelsea Green, or Tiffany versus Bayley, or Chelsea Green versus Michin. They could go that route. They had something going on a while back. I don't know, but a lot of people think Chelsea Green wins the first. Who wins real quick, Terrence? Who's the first ever United States Women's Champion? No, they won't. I think it's gonna be Chelsea Green. Call me crazy. Yeah, if Bailey's not gonna go heel, which I wish she would, I know it's probably too soon, but she's just better as a heel, in my opinion. Her run as a baby face and the champion wasn't all that good. That's why Nia Jax is the champion now. But I'm gonna say Chelsea Green, just a wild card. We'll come back to it though. We'll come back to it later this coming week as we get ready for it. And then of course we've got Kevin Owens versus Cody. We know Cody's gonna retain. I'm pretty sure, as Terrence was saying earlier. We'll come back and talk about whatever that fifth match is, if there's a fifth match. And last but not least, T, we're gonna wrap this show up by talking about the rumors of how Cody Rhodes and The Rock have allegedly recorded or filmed a few segments secretly, and they're going to be filmed or shown at some point when the time is right. But some people, like Brian Alvarez, Sean Ross Sapp, Chris Featherstone, all these people are saying that The Rock is not going to be at WrestleMania 41, and that he was just seen on Bad Blood, basically just to appear on the screen, just a way to get him on the screen. But they didn't have any major direction or a plot point that they were furthering. And I would just want to say, T, before you give your part, if anybody really believes that BS, I got a bridge. I got a bridge to sell right now, West Memphis State Line, that I can sell you, partner. If you believe that, all the things that have happened when Rock left, he put something in Cody's hand, something about you broke my heart. He said, when I come back, I'm coming for you, Cody, but I got to go away for a while. Why wouldn't he be at WrestleMania? Or they're going to do this quickly at Royal Rumble. Your thoughts, T, and we can wrap it up. I thought. You're right. Right. Just like that. Okay. Okay. And I believe you're right. I mean, there's just no way he couldn't be there. I just don't see it. So, yep, I agree with you. The Rock will be there. And I think we get The Rock versus Cody at WrestleMania. What does this leave for Roman then before we leave, T? What does that leave for Roman? Is Roman going to fight solo at WrestleMania? Or should we get that at Royal Rumble? Who is Roman going to be? Is he going to be at WrestleMania? Hmm. Because Punk really does want this WrestleMania main event bad. Him and Rollins could very well main event WrestleMania night one, and Cody and Rock night two. What does this leave for Roman? It almost tells me Roman is the one who's not going to be out. I mean, in it. That's true. Oh man, that's true. Yep. Well, we got plenty of time to discuss what they could have for Roman. But we will wrap it up for right there for right now, and we will see whenever Tiffany Stratton cashes in this right here behind me, that Money in the Bank briefcase. we'll see. Terrence, thank you again. That was a great show. And we're going to wrap this up and get up out of here. We'll be back to recap next week's shows, this coming week's shows, Raw, SmackDown, and the prediction card for Saturday Night Main Event. Jesse the Body Ventura will be there as well. We'll get that old 80s, sound. It's a great thing. I can't wait. They're even going with the look, the theme music, and all of that. Next Saturday's going to be good. I'm more excited for that than I was for Survivor Series, to be honest with you. It's going to be good. Yep. All right. We're out of here. Everybody, please be safe out there, and we'll be back for another episode of The Great Debate Show Sunday night, immediately after Sunday Night Football on NBC. Recapping week 14. Peace.